Well, we want to win. We do want to win.
I know how much responsibility goes with this, and so many people are counting on the outcome of this election, what it means for our country.
Definitely a historic election, perhaps one of the biggest we will see in our lifetimes. And who would have thought at this hour of election night, this presidential race is just too close to call between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. We'll send you back to ABC as soon as an announcement is ready to be made. Now, we have our Denver 7 teams all over tracking the results as they come in and live from both watch parties.
And we are also on top of the congressional races, the state legislative races, along with those big ballot issues in Colorado. So let's start with some results for you. Here are the latest national numbers state by state. So, of course, the magic number they're shooting for here is 270 electoral votes. Right now at 10 o'clock Mountain, Trump is leading 244 electoral votes. Hillary Clinton with 209. And ABC News called Colorado and its 9 electoral votes for Clinton about 8:40 Mountain Time. And you can see how the votes break down here. So, to Marshall Zellinger, our political expert, what's still up for grabs this hour?
Well, let's take a closer look at that map. Everything that's in gray is still not called, including Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Arizona, Nevada, just to name a few. Right now, ABC has it 244 Donald Trump, 209 Hillary Clinton. So how does Donald Trump become president? I've written in already the electoral votes that still remain. You can see Hillary Clinton absolutely needs the 20 from Pennsylvania, 16 up for grabs here in Michigan, 10 in Wisconsin. Donald Trump needs 26. He could get those two. He could get Arizona. What does that look like? Right now, the vote in Michigan, Donald Trump in the lead, 52,000 votes with about 1/3 of the votes still remaining to be counted. If he wins that, he just needs 10 more. He could get that in Wisconsin, where there's 75% of the vote in, and he's got a hefty lead right now in Wisconsin. I want to show you Arizona, which would give him 11 electoral votes, where Donald Trump is in the lead, 785,000, 727,000, but that's with 60% of the vote remaining. It just depends on what areas, what counties in those states haven't been counted yet as this map continues to unfold. But basically, Hillary Clinton needs to make all those gray states blue. Donald Trump has a few that he could win in different combinations. Ann and Shannon.
Thank you, Marshall. Let's get now to the biggest statewide races, starting with the U.S. Senate race. Incumbent Senator Michael Bennet holding on to his seat. First elected in 2010, tonight he beat GOP challenger Darrell Glenn. Senator Bennet, surrounded by his family, gave his acceptance speech just about an hour ago.
Well, thank you, Colorado. Thank you. You live in the most dynamic and beautiful state in the United States of America.
And the 6th congressional district, that was the race to watch here in Colorado. 4-term incumbent Mike Coffman holds on to his seat, beating Democratic challenger Morgan Carroll 51 to 43%. In fact, he called this an epic race, and it was one of the most contentious U.S. House races covering much of the southeast metro, including Aurora, parts of Centennial, Littleton, and Highlands Ranch.
I want to go to some of the big ballot issues that really could not just rewrite Colorado law, but change life in Colorado, starting with the proposed universal health care Colorado. And voters overwhelmingly said no to this. Look at that, 80 to 20%.
And another close race tonight, as predicted. The amendment that would triple the tax on tobacco products. Well, voters have been leaning all night on the no side on raising this tax. So right now it still holds 53% saying no, 47% saying yes. An
emotional issue tonight on the ballot, allowing terminally ill patients to take life-ending drugs with a doctor's prescription. It's called Prop 106. And it passes in Colorado. So Colorado becomes the 5th state in the country with such a law.
All right, let's get to reaction now from the Colorado parties tonight. We are live at both locations.
Denver 7's Tony Kovaleski is at the Democrats' watch party. That's at the Westin in downtown Denver. Tony?
Shannon, Ann, I got to tell you, the mood right here tonight, complete shock. A lot of people downtown right now expecting to celebrate a complete blue wave across the country. As we know, it hasn't turned out that way, but we did have a chance to talk to Governor Hickenlooper just about 10 minutes ago about what has transpired, about the impact, about the fact that Colorado has gone blue now in the presidential race for 3 consecutive races. Here's what he had to say. Colorado goes blue for the 3rd straight presidential election. Well, what does that say?
We're still purple. I mean, this was a case where, for a lot of reasons, people in Colorado weren't big supporters of Donald Trump. But you know, if he wins, we will support him and we'll work with him. That's the way this country is supposed to work.
The other big race in the state, CD6, it went red. Any insight?
No, I mean, that CD6 has gone red by about the same margin for the last 6 years, right? So doesn't mean it's not, you know, I think it's a battleground district, but I think Mike Kaufman's a tough candidate.
Last question, your future. A lot of people said you were on your way to Washington, D.C. if Hillary Clinton won. Your thoughts right now?
Well, as I've always said, I got 2 more years left in the greatest state in America. We're trying to make Colorado a national model for how to bring good government into a state, really, you know, refurbish the education system and make sure we've got a diverse economy. Nothing would make me happier than to stay right here, no matter who wins.
Hickenlooper, as we talked to him just a few moments ago, clearly a surprise governor. Hickenlooper, as we talked to him just a few moments ago, behind us right now, about half of the crowd that was here an hour and a half ago. As we said, a lot of shock here at the Democratic headquarters. Talked to some strategists just in the last 5 minutes who said the polling system in this country is clearly broken. If Trump continues to win, it raises serious questions about how and the way things were calculated before the election. A lot to look at, a lot to analyze. Another point that was brought out is that the third-party vote may have played a major role. Reporting live in downtown Denver at the Democratic headquarters, I'm Tony Kovaleski, Denver 7.
The blue and the color there, I think, reflecting the mood there at the Westin this evening.
Of course, a much different mood with the Republicans tonight. That's where Denver 7's Ryan Luby is at the watch party at the Doubletree Hotel in the Tech Center. Ryan?
Yeah, it's a little tough to hear here. People have been shouting and cheering for the whole night here, really, since we got here around 7 o'clock or so. I'm standing next to Robert Blaha, the chairman for Trump's campaign here in Colorado. And, sir, I would imagine you're pleased right now.
Well, we're pretty excited. You know, we've got one more state to go, but it's a historic night.
Talk about here in Colorado, even speaking with people within your own party, sources of ours within your own party, we're saying it was going to be an uphill battle for the GOP across the state. Representative Kaufman won tonight by a sizable margin. Clearly, the numbers did not quite shake out ahead of time as they're turning out to be here tonight. Would you agree?
Well, yeah, I mean, this was an uphill battle from day one. I mean, Trump was like 15 points down a few months back, and through his work and just sheer effort by a lot of people in this state, including Patrick Davis and a lot of other fantastic people and multiple volunteers, we were very close, but nationally it looks like we're going to get it done.
Well, and the ground game in Colorado, too, was smaller than the Clinton campaign by a sizable margin, but still, nationally you look at it, Colorado you look at it, it's a significant upset, if you will, for some.
I think it's just a proof to everybody in America that, you know, if a few people have a great idea and they're willing to work hard, get up early and work harder than the next guy, they can get results. And I think it really echoes Donald Trump's message about trying to be great and turn this country in a different direction.
Does he or does the GOP here in Colorado have to do more to bring in the part of the party that was not supporting him, Representative Kaufman included, in the beginning?
I think you raise a good point, because we did this in spite of a lot of support, as a lot of people know. You know, the permanent political class was nowhere with us with this, and we did that. We did this, and we got the groups together, we got the teams together, we got co-chairs together, we turned them loose. We ran it a lot like you'd run a business, and the results speak for themselves.
I appreciate it. Thank you much. Robert Baja, thank you. Well, like I mentioned, people have been very, very excited here tonight. We've heard a lot of people cheering. This is still a packed house. Most people have not left. We spoke with a number of them just a few minutes ago. Let's go ahead and take a listen.
Donald Trump is the real deal. I think that he means what he says, and he says what he means, and I've always just thought that he was honest, and I knew he could pull it off, and I just think he's going to be great for the country.
I think so many people are looking for a change in Washington. They're looking to throw out the typical government, and they want something new. They want Obamacare to be repealed. They want so many new things in Washington that have, frankly, it's been broken for quite some time.
So there you have it. This is the scene here at the GOP party here near the Tech Center. Again, no one has really left. They are just waiting at this point, if you talk to any of them, for the national media and for this whole election to be over, for this race to be called for Donald Trump. As soon as we hear anything else, we'll absolutely bring it to you. But for now, we are live here near the Tech Center. I'm Ryan Luby, Denver 7.
Ryan Luby in the middle of the party part of the grand old party this evening.
Thank you, Ryan. Also tonight, we are monitoring the balance of power at the state legislature, and political reporter Marshall Zellinger is watching 4 state Senate races that could tip the scales. And Marshall, the Democrats had to flip 1 seat for total control of Colorado.
Yeah, the state Senate 18-17 with the Republicans right now. They were trying to make it 18-17 at least. Democrats for total control. And here to talk through some of these numbers with me, Democratic strategist Steve Welchert and Amy Stevens, former House Majority Leader at the State House. And this race had the most publicity probably. Laura Woods, current state senator, taking on challenger Rachel Zenzinger. We have it right now, 48-46. And 2 years ago when they faced off, it was this a different libertarian candidate that played spoiler, and we're seeing the same thing again.
Yes.
Well, what's a very tough night for Democrats, maybe nationally, the silver lining is that this might be a kind of a blue oasis in the middle of a Red Sea. So you're going to get some Senate races that are going to go Democrat at the local level.
I predict that we hold the Senate. I think Kevin Priola's numbers are showing a lot of strength against Janice May, which is going to come up soon. But I do think that this is kind of a mirror. You know, it's a flip.
So if this stayed, the Democrats have 1 seat advantage. In this race, Daniel Kagan trying to take what's already a Democratic seat in the state Senate against Nancy Doty, and we have it right now, Daniel Kagan in the lead.
Right? Yes.
He's going to win that seat.
He's going to win it. Yep.
Well.
So it's the next race that you're concerned about the most. This is the one that the Democrats need to take control of the state Senate, essentially. And right now, Kevin Priola having a much larger lead than maybe, I know in the previous years, I think it was 1,400 was this seat last time it was up. And right now it's about 2,500
votes. This seat's going to tighten some more. This is Adams County. The votes are going to come in very late. Only half the votes there now. And so I think we can expect to see a lot more votes coming in later.
And then this could have been a spoiler. Jack Tate right now, currently the state senator against Tom Sullivan, whose son died in the Aurora Theater shooting, trying to become a state senator. And right now, 53-47. This one probably a safe bet to stay Republican?
I think so. And I think Jack has had a really a big ground game. And I think that this, obviously, with 80% reporting, we're not going to see a change.
He's benefited by Mike Kaufman's real solid campaign out there, I think. That's the real advantage.
Is there any chance? You think Adams County could still play spoiler in that race?
I don't.
I think there's a small chance. The spread's fairly big, but there's still half the vote outstanding, so it's a lot to go.
Given the way everything looks, it would stay 18-17 Republicans, but we're going to keep watching this throughout the night and again in the morning.
Oh, yeah, and we have a lot more to talk about tonight on this epic election night. Of course, we're monitoring the presidential race very closely.
We are, and I want to tell you this right now. As soon as there is any big news, we're going to go back to ABC News programming. And as we go to the break now, I want to take one more look at the electoral map as we stand now at 12 minutes after 10 o'clock Mountain. Donald Trump with 244 electoral votes. Hillary Clinton at 209, looking for that magic number of 270. Welcome back. Coverage of this big, important, historic night. We want to give you another look at the state-by-state breakdown of the race for president at this hour, just after 10 o'clock Mountain. A lot of red on the map, but there are 2 gray spots, Michigan and Wisconsin. Those could give Donald Trump 26th electoral vote, and that would put him over the top. Hillary Clinton trailing with 209 electoral votes. In Wisconsin, we are expecting to be called very shortly. Wisconsin has 10 electoral votes
And you
tonight.
can see that Clinton did take Colorado tonight. Of course, as you were looking at your ballot, as you filled it out, you know, Colorado, we had a very long ballot to deal with a whole lot of statewide issues.
Absolutely. Adam Hammond has been watching all those issues all night, and very impactful stuff here, Adam.
That's right, guys. One of the hot issues we're going to take a quick look at on the ballot was Amendment 70, which would raise Colorado's minimum wage to $12 an hour in steps by 2020. Let's take a look at the results from that. We're going to take a look at Amendment 70. The yes vote there, 55% compared to 45%, meaning it won. Proposition 107 is another big issue, allowing presidential primaries to return to Colorado. Let's take a look at that total right there. 64% yes. It just passed us a second ago, but this one is Proposition 108 that we're going to take a look at. Back to 107. Yeah, there it is. Yes, 64, and then no is 38. Proposition 108, yes, 52, compared to no, 48. And also, this means Colorado's 1 million unaffiliated voters will no longer have to register with a political party to participate in the non-presidential primary elections. You're taking a look now at Amendment 71. You can see right here, yes has 57% compared to no's 43. This would make the process a little more difficult to change the Constitution. Signatures would have to be collected from each of the state's 35 Senate districts in numbers equal to at least 2% of the registered voters in the districts. Let's take a look at Amendment T. This one is looking like it's 47% to 53%. That's Amendment 72. This is tobacco taxes for health programs. This would raise the taxes on a pack of 20 cigarettes up, as you see. That one's pretty close. This one is Amendment T. Yes, 50%, no 50%. This is a very close race. It's been a close race all night long. This amendment would remove references to slavery in the state's constitution. If we could take a look at Amendment U coming up next. Amendment U is looking like yes 43% compared to no's 57%. Amendment U would have allowed businesses that lease government-owned property for private benefit to be exempt from paying property tax if that value of the property was under $6,000. All right, two quick things we want to take a look at. Initiative 300 would allow limited social pot use in designated areas here in Denver. Right now nearly 51% are for it, and 49% are not for it. And then there's ballot issue 2H in Boulder, that sugary drink tax we've been telling you about. Close to 55% are for it compared to 45% who are not. Shannon?
Adam Hammond, I think it took less time to take ACTs for me than to go through the Colorado ballot this year. Thanks for staying on top of all that. Now, as we showed you, because of these lines today, voter turnout has been remarkable in Colorado. We could hit a record. So we've already topped turnout from the last presidential election in 2012. That was 71%. Denver 7's Jennifer Kovaleski's live at a polling spot at 8th and Downing. Jen, you're hearing we could see 80% turnout today.
Shannon, that's what Governor John Hickenlooper told me, and that would be the first time ever. We saw wait times at this polling location up to 2 hours, and the last voter walked through that door just shortly after 9.
I'm sorry that I waited so long.
The line's long, wait times even longer.
Wrappers, trash, water bottles.
Got my paperwork, and here I am, waiting in line for about an hour and 30 minutes.
But for these Denver voters, all this was worth it.
And to see this many people in line is awesome.
Really inspiring.
And I'm honestly surprised of the turnout.
At this polling location off 8th and Downing, the line wrapped completely around the building. Even Governor Hickenlooper showed up.
Thank you for your patience.
Yes. He called the turnout across the state encouraging.
If we could have an 80% turnout in Colorado, I mean, that would be a first time ever. I think we'll almost certainly be in the top 3 states in America for turnout, and that's something we should be proud of.
I think that speaks volumes about just how passionate people are about just this election cycle.
We won't know the official voter turnout numbers until tomorrow, but so far that number is at least 73%. Reporting live tonight, Jennifer Kovaleski, Denver 7.
Now, we had some tense moments on this election day right here in Colorado. Voter lines got a lot longer around 3 o'clock this afternoon when the state's voter registration system crashed. That lasted for 29 minutes. State ballots could not be processed. Voter lines were stalled, so we went right to the Secretary of State.
It's a critical part of the elections process. That enables us to verify whether an individual has already voted. Obviously, that's an important part of election integrity.
Democrats asked a judge to keep the polls open longer, but a judge denied it. Officials are still investigating what happened. So that's where it's left right now.
To ABC News coverage of this historic night right now.